Becky was the kind of girl everyone noticed. With her bright smile, smooth dark skin, and humble nature, she drew admiration wherever she went. Neighbors often teased her, calling her the lover girl, because she was always cheerful, spreading love with her words and actions. At just 25, she already had a stable job as a sales representative in a well-known company. Her hard-working spirit and charm made her one of the best in her team. Despite all this, Becky longed for true love. Her parents constantly advised her to be careful with men. "Marriage is more than beauty and excitement," her mother always said. "A good man should have respect and patience." Becky nodded politely each time, but her heart secretly wondered when love would find her. She never imagined that soon, fate would lead her into the arms of Ejike, the man who would first sweep her off her feet, then break her heart into pieces. It was a Monday morning when Ejike walked into Becky's office. He had just been transferred from Anambra State to Lagos branch. Tall, broad-shouldered, with an air of confidence, he caught the attention of many. But it was Becky he kept his eyes on. They were assigned to the same sales team, and soon their paths crossed daily. Ejike was witty, bold, and charming. He complimented Becky's work and often joked around with her during lunch breaks. Slowly, their friendship grew into something deeper. Colleagues noticed the chemistry between them. "You two are becoming inseparable," one teased. Becky blushed, and Ejike smiled proudly. For Becky, it felt like a dream come true. She believed God had finally answered her prayers. But dreams sometimes hide nightmares. What Becky couldn't see then was that Ejike's charm was only a mask covering a dangerous temper. A temper that would one day make her regret ignoring her parents' warnings. Months passed, and Ejike asked Becky to take him home. "If we are serious," he said, "your family must know me." Excited, Becky dressed in her best outfit and traveled with him to her village. Her parents received them politely, but weren't impressed. Her father studied Ejike quietly before saying, "My daughter, Anambra men are known for pride and hardness. We fear he may not treat you well," her mother added softly. "Becky, marriage is not by love alone. Wisdom is needed." But Becky, blinded by feelings, defended Ejike. "He is different, Mama. He loves me. Please trust me." Her parents sighed. They could not force her, but they left her with heavy warnings. That night, Becky convinced herself they were simply judging Ejike unfairly. She promised herself she would prove them wrong. Little did she know that this single choice would lead her into years of hidden suffering and regret. Against her parents' advice, Becky went ahead with the marriage. Their wedding day was bright and colorful. Guests ate, danced, and cheered. Becky glowed in her white dress, convinced she had made the right choice. Ejike looked proud, holding her hand tightly, as if she belonged to him alone. Her parents attended, but they wore serious faces, whispering silent prayers. They had lived long enough to know that love without wisdom could turn sour. Still, they respected Becky's decision, even if their hearts were uneasy. After the wedding, Becky moved into Ejike's apartment in Lagos. The early days were sweet. He bought her small gifts, held her hand in public, and told her she was his queen. Becky thought she had proven her parents wrong. But slowly, the cracks appeared. Ejike grew impatient, snapping at her over little issues. Becky brushed it off, believing all marriages had challenges. She had no idea how deep those cracks would grow. One rainy evening, Becky forgot to add enough salt to Ejike's soup. Instead of laughing it off, he scolded her harshly. When she tried to defend herself, his hand landed across her cheek. Becky froze in shock. "Ejike, you hit me?" she whispered. He quickly apologized, claiming stress from work. He promised it would never happen again. Becky, still in love, forgave him. She told herself it was just a mistake. But, deep in her heart, something broke that day. For the first time, she felt unsafe in her own home. She remembered her parents' warning, but pride and fear of shame silenced her. How could she admit to them that they were right? Little did she know, that first blow was only the beginning. Ejike had tasted power over her, and he would use it again and again. A few months later, Becky discovered she was pregnant. She thought this news would soften Ejike's heart, but instead, his anger worsened. He complained about the cost of raising a child and mocked her for moving slowly. One night, when she refused to fetch water because her feet were swollen, Ejike slapped her so hard she nearly fell. "Don't ever disobey me," he growled. Becky cried silently, hugging her belly, praying for her unborn child's safety. She wanted to run home, but couldn't. How could she tell her parents? Shame tied her down, and pride whispered, "Stay." Every day became a battle for survival. She held on to hope, whispering to herself, maybe when the baby comes, he will change. But she was deceiving herself. Ejike's heart was turning colder, not warmer. When Becky finally gave birth to a baby boy, she thought motherhood would change everything. She imagined Ejike smiling proudly and becoming a gentle father. But the opposite happened. Ejike became even more demanding. One evening, as she struggled to nurse the baby, he shouted, "Go and cook for me!" Becky pleaded, "Please, I just finished breastfeeding." But he didn't care. He shook her violently until the baby cried in fear. Becky's heart broke. She realized the man she married had no pity, no respect, not even for his own child. She cried into the night, wondering how she had ended up in such misery. Her love story had turned into a prison of pain. Still, she remained silent, too ashamed to reach out for help. Her suffering deepened, but she kept it hidden, behind forced smiles. Neighbors began to notice the shouting, the crying, the arguments, but Becky always covered up. "We are fine," she would say with a smile, though her eyes told a different story. Her silence became her prison. She couldn't return home, couldn't tell her parents, couldn't admit the truth. She felt trapped between shame and fear. Every night, she asked herself, "Why didn't I listen?" But every morning, she woke up to the same nightmare. Becky was drowning in pain, but she had no one to rescue her. Or so she thought, until an old friend showed up at her door. One Saturday, Becky's longtime friend Amaka came to visit. She was shocked to see Becky's swollen face and bruised arms. At first, Becky tried to hide it, but Amaka pressed harder until Becky broke down, sobbing out the truth. Amaka hugged her tightly. "You cannot continue like this. You and your child deserve better." For the first time, Becky felt a flicker of hope. Amaka promised to help her escape and start a new life. They began to plan carefully, waiting for the right moment. Becky felt both fear and relief. Fear of leaving, but relief that someone finally understood her pain. The plan was simple: wait until Ejike left for work, then leave quietly with the baby. Becky packed only a small bag clothes for herself and her child, and a little money Amaka had given her. The morning finally came. As Ejike shut the door behind him, Becky's heart raced. She whispered a prayer, tied her baby to her back, and stepped out. Amaka was waiting with a taxi. As they drove away, Becky looked back at the house where her dreams had died. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but this time they were tears of relief. She was finally free. That evening, Ejike returned to find the house empty. He searched briefly, then shrugged. Surprisingly, he made no effort to find her. He didn't call, didn't report, didn't ask questions. Becky realized then that he never truly loved her. To him, she was just someone to control. Now that she was gone, he didn't care. This truth cut deep, but it also gave her freedom. She no longer had to pretend. With Amaka's help, Becky found a small job and rented a modest room. Life wasn't easy, but it was peaceful. She worked hard during the day and cared for her son at night. Slowly, her laughter returned. She learned to live again, to smile again, to believe in herself again. Though scars remained, she felt stronger than ever. She finally realized that peace is better than wealth, and freedom is better than a marriage built on pain. 1 year later, Becky knew it was time to face her past. She could no longer hide from her parents. She wanted their forgiveness and their blessing. With trembling hands, she packed her things and traveled to her village with her son. On the way, she prayed silently. "Lord, let them forgive me. I was foolish, but I have learned my lesson." When Becky arrived, her parents were shocked. She knelt down in tears, confessing everything. "Papa, Mama, I am sorry. You warned me, but I did not listen. Please, forgive me." Her mother embraced her tightly, weeping. Her father placed his hand on her shoulder and said, "You are our daughter. We warned you out of love, not hatred. Welcome home." Becky wept, finally free from guilt and shame. Her parents' forgiveness healed her broken heart. Becky's story spread in the community. Young girls came to hear her advice. She told them, "Love is not blind. If your parents see danger, don't ignore them. I ignored mine, and I suffered. Please, don't make the same mistake." Her words became a lesson for others. Parents' wisdom is not to control but to protect. Becky's life taught that no one should remain silent in abuse, and no one should value pride over peace. At last, Becky had peace. Her pain turned into a message that saved others. The lesson was clear. Always value your parents' advice, because what they see ahead, you may not. And above all, never stay silent. In the face of abuse, life and peace are worth more than pride. Youth should listen to their parents' advice. Love without wisdom can lead to regret, and no one should remain in an abusive marriage. Forgiveness and second chances exist, but obedience could save years of pain. If you were Becky trapped between love, shame, and your parents' warning, what would you have done differently? Let me know in the comments section. I love to read your comments.